Hello, everyone. It's Zimbo, and I'm back for round three of tasting through these excellent, awesome looking Dutch craft cans that I so randomly picked up the other day. It's taken me a while to work through them, but I've got a lot going with moving, and to be honest, I've been drinking a lot of domestic beers. But anyway, we got Hop Art from Vandestreek Brewery, and it's in Utrecht, which is Netherlands' fourth largest city. It's about a 15 to 20-minute train ride from Amsterdam. This country, everything's packed up. So you have all these big cities, and they're not really far from each other. But apparently, it's beautiful, historic town. I guess kind of has a college vibe. I've never been there, but I now have a reason to go because Vandestreek has both a tap room and brewery with tours on the weekends, and they have a beer centric kind of upscale restaurant in the city center. Just kind of quick look on their website. They do tell you quite a bit, a lot of good information and pictures. Started in 2010, so not a young brewery, but by no means like grizzled veterans yet, we'll say, but 15 plus years in the industry. And in their words, it's two brothers whose hobby got way out of hand. Um, but yeah, and then looks like they do a lot of IPAs and also Belgian style beers, like a good mix. But what was most surprising is I think out of the 11 beers they had listed, four of them were NA, which is kind of another conversation we could have another time, is NA versus alcohol free. But that's quite a bit of offerings. Third of their portfolio NA beer. But let's go ahead and take a look at Hop Art. This can just jumped right out of me. I think we could have all kinds of episodes or reviews on packaging and why we pick what we pick. But this really jumped out at me. Hop Art, they have it listed as a 5% gluten free, drinkable West Coast IPA. And first off, gluten free in the EU. This is not something we can call gluten free in America or UK or Canada. It is brewed with a malt extract, which has still gluten in it, but in lower levels than what would come from whole grain if we were to brew beer from whole grain. But anyway, it's enough in the UK to say, or enough in Europe to say it is gluten free. However, if you are celiac, I would not drink this. And also 5% for me is still a little low for a full strength IPA. The category lists at 5.5 to 7.5%, and that is maybe something you could get dinged on if you turn this into like a brew competition in the IPA category. But again, they're calling it drinkable, and it also kind of goes with, they list their IBUs as well. And IBUs is International Bitter Units. It's a way we measure the bitterness in beer. And they have it listed at 50 IBUs, which for the IPA, American IPA category, is still a little on the light. It's 40 to 70. So we're not talking about this huge West Coast IPA, in my mind. But who knows? Hop Art, we'll see. It should be a little darker in color than maybe the Stardust that we tried from Brewery Lost. Just hazies tend to be a little lighter in color, and also I would expect much more clarity from a West Coast IPA versus the juicy haziness of NEPA. And then what else did I have on here? Oh yeah, they list Columbus hops, Cascade, and Citra, and so I'm not expecting tropical space beer. This, my mind immediately goes to like Christmas trees decorated with lemon peels, so we should get like a citrusy redwood forest smell. Uh, but yeah, classic hops. A whole nother history lesson could be written on Cascade hops and a lot of the breweries in California and just the Pacific Northwest in the 90s utilizing this, what was previously a trash hop that they got at good rates, and really just kind of blew up the category and started the whole American craft beer thing, kind of spearheaded by IPAs. And then also, look forward to trying this. We'll see how it pours. Oh, another thing, uh, €3 for a can. I'm seeing so far in the Netherlands that craft beer is incredibly expensive. I get it being, from the industry on why things have to be priced that way, but there is a massive disparity in price between craft and domestic versus what we have in the U.S. Whereas I had €3 a can, I can go to the grocery market and buy a case of beer. For those who don't know, that's 24 12-ounce bottles. A case of beer for €20. I can bring that home, and if I return my bottles and the plastic racket comes in, get my 350, I'm really paying $16 $17 for a full case of beer, or euros for a full case of beer, whereas we're looking at €3 for one can here. But yeah, I always like to start my pour out. Let me get that other label out of the way. And then as I get it established, I'll go a little higher so that I can get a little better head and kind of get an idea of head retention, and just kind of look at the foam. You don't want your beer to the top with no foam. You want foam. But yeah, so like right off the bat, like we were saying, a little darker color, almost matching the yellow behind me here, but would definitely call this probably a little golden, whereas that Stardust beer was a little even lighter on the I don't know, just a lighter yellow color. But that decent clarity, not as clear as you would think of a lager, but still I can see a lot deeper in this than I could in that hazy. And again, categorically different with the West Coast. We'll go on the smell. Let's give her a whiff. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of the citrus notes from the Citra and the Cascade. And I'm getting that kind of bitter Christmas tree, that pine, that kind of coniferous smell. But it's not overpowering. It's not like I smelt some West Coast IPAs that just blew my head off. Seems quite reasonable. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, certainly not a New England juicy. It's not all tropical. It's not kind of thick and viscousy. This is not a New England sweet IPA. It is West Coast. It's a little short for me as far as a West Coast IPA goes. I want more. It definitely has the bitter pine gum with a little bit of a citrus sprinkle on there, but I want to chew on a Christmas tree with my West Coast IPA. And maybe that's all into how they're writing this down as a drinkable West Coast IPA. Maybe for somebody who doesn't want liquid Christmas tree, and for somebody who wants their ABV a little lower so they can crush a little bit more. But for me, a great flavored beer. It falls a little short from the West Coast IPA that I know, but let's see how it gulps. This is gulpable. You could call this sessionable. And for somebody was asking me, I mentioned sessionable. Sessionable is just what we refer to as lower strength, so that you can crush a lot of them and have a session. So it's sessionable. But anyway, happy drinking and cheers.